fashion. So, actually, how's Hull going?
We drew one each yesterday. We are doing okay. We're unbeaten in 5 now. We are currently tables. Come on, internet. Yeah. Yeah, we conceded the last minute equaliser yesterday, which is moderately annoying. We are currently scroll. We're not in the top 5. Why are you being so slow, internet? 8th. Level on points with the playoffs. So, doing all right.
Yeah, there you go. I'm just thinking here, Eloise said, do I make trades to make my team the exact same as Liam's so we draw on the Content Creators Cup final and I stay ahead of him in rank? And I said, and I've just replied saying that, well, you would win on the tiebreaker of points scored 4. So you might as well. That's the thing. So, yeah, I can't believe I missed out on the bloody final for bloody points scored. I was 8-2, and I still managed to miss. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I died a death. I played against the good people at the end. It's been an issue.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's get this show on the road.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFLW Fantasy Fanatics round review, the penultimate round review for the 2025 AFLW Fantasy season. I'm your host, Bales, and you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials. And joining me, as always, is my co-host and fellow AFLW Fantasy Fanatic, Tom Hales. Tom, mate, how are you? How was your weekend?
Weekend was okay. Got absolutely battered at cricket yesterday. My weekly cricket update. A bloke hit a 40-ball 100 against us, which was, yeah, it was good to watch the ball fly over my head.
Were you one of the bowlers?
No, I was the captain, though, so...
yeah, I was going to say maybe get a pass if you're just fielding, but no, maybe as the captain.
No, I don't get a pass. But apart from that, good weekend, solid weekend. A rise in rank at this time of the year is always good, and I'll keep you a bit on tenterhooks to see how good a week I actually had.
Yeah, exactly. Now the weekend was okay, very a bit flat, and I'll go through my week, but that. Fantasy, as people know, dictates a lot of my mood throughout the weekend. And unless I'm top 100 going well, it's probably a bit down. There you go. So not too great. But no, Friday night showdown was like Crows lost, which was obviously frustrating. But I thought the game was good. Bit of spice in the game as well. The conditions were perfect. There wasn't a breath of wind. It was about 20 degrees. It was like perfect conditions. And at Norwood over in the grandstand, seeing like the sunset over the hills and everything, like it was picturesque. It was fantastic. It just showed the Crows didn't get the win. But let's go through our trades for the past week. So Tom, what did you do with your moves in round 11?
I can't remember this. Okay, so I had a bit of an issue with. I had the Ella Roberts layout, so I had to pivot a little bit on my trades. So I did Sarah Goodwin to Shelley Heath. I wish that was going to be O'Driscoll, but unfortunately, with how I set my trades up and then having to reverse a different one, that one couldn't be. That one was locked in. With the Ella Roberts laid out, I did Ella Roberts to Monconti, which went fine, and also did Taylor Harris to Katie Brennan, who scored 27.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Very, very fun. And I like the trade of Katie Brennan as well, which is very, very annoying. My trades this week, just not enough. Just not good enough, unfortunately, with the trades. Went Lauren Young down to Paige Scott as a bit of bench cover in the forward line. Went Emma Carney out to Shelley Heath, which is obviously fine. Like Shelley Heath got a 60-odd. That's fine. Brisbane, not a great matchup. But yeah, Charlie Thomas out. Seriously, unbelievable. She'd been bad for weeks, and I'd kept the faith, There wasn't really a defender I loved bringing in. So I was going O'Driscoll, But then with the Ella Roberts out, I thought, oh, I might go Emma Swanson. She'll play midfield. She was named on ball. She's at the first CB. I'm like, cool, I'll bring her in because she'll probably do a job on a Sydney player, but she'll play midfield because Roberts is out. And she scored 43. And both O'Driscoll and Thomas scored 77. So I lost 34 points there. Yeah, just very, very frustrating. But yeah, Charlie Thomas, 45-point quarter. I was on my way to have lunch at my grandma's birthday and looking at the phone before I was going to put my AirPods in as I was driving. Just thought I'd quickly check what Charlie Thomas was on at that point. She was on 45. I didn't listen. I couldn't listen. So I just ended up, I think it puts on some music or something like that. I couldn't listen to Charlie Thomas racking the ball up. So, yeah, no, very, very frustrating. Our weeks, how did you go? What was your score, your own rank and overall rank?
So I scored an absolutely mediocre 1595 for a round rank of 612, and my over rank is 307, which is a rise of 4 places. 4, yes, getting better.
Yep. Oh, mate. At least you went up because I went down in a week where I needed to make up points. I went down 1608. I'm a bit shocked. I slid in ranks with over 1600. It's just that there wasn't really any real bad performance. That was probably where I didn't get the leg up right, is that there was no popular players that went poor. We'll talk about Goldsworthy after, but obviously the injury, everyone's got her, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, lost 21 points on top 100, so I'm 132 points away. So season done. I'd have to catch up. I'd have to probably finish. I'd have to do a Liam, who just quietly had another top 10 week this week. I think he finished 7th or something for the week, which is ridiculous. I needed that. So Liam, if you know what the tricks are for finishing top 10 for a week, you've done 2 weeks in a row. I need that this week if I'm the 1% chance of getting a hat. But yeah, it's going to be incredibly difficult to catch up at 130 this week. Plus and minus 3?
Plus 3 has to go to Charlie Mullins. Like, absolutely amazing. 115 against Melbourne, a fairly tough matchup. To do that is absolutely amazing, and probably, well, not definitely my best trading of the year, especially in luxury season, to actually hit one after I feel like I've missed every other luxury trade so far this year. Absolutely fantastic. Negative 3. I have two in mind. So at this time of year, you're looking at 60th position as a 4. If you get a 60, you're not that upset. I had 2 20s this week. As for mentioned, Katie Brennan, and also, and this is my fault for having her, Jenna Richardson. The flow-on effect of me having to hold to trade Ella Roberts was meant I had to hold Jenna Richardson, which means she has scored 53 points over the last 2 weeks combined. I'm lost for words, unfortunately. And now she's down to 548k. She's down 282k in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yep. No, it has not gone to plan, to say the least, that's for sure. But all I'll say is that she's still scoring my F4 spot 3 weeks prior to this week, where I got 56 points from 3 weeks for one player, which is great.
Yeah,
hey,
this player played. She played 90% top.
Well, technically, mine did as well, right? I think it was Lauren Young 49 covering for Window, then Window injured on 7, and then Courtney Hodder 0 and had no cover. Just this season's gone to a shambles the last month. Plus and minus 3 for me. So plus 3. I've got to give it an offie, don't I? 160. Obviously watching that game live as well. Was just hoping I didn't have to choose between the North girls, which, fun enough, if I had to choose, it wouldn't have mattered. Or if I had to choose Bowers, it wouldn't have mattered because they all scored very, very well. But yeah, Noffy 160, very, very good to lock away a 160 VC on a Friday night. So very happy with that. Minus 3, Charlie Thomas. Seriously, 45-point first quarter when I traded you. Seriously, unbelievable. Does my head in. Like, I don't know if people can understand. I'm actually going to really enjoy this break once next week's done. Obviously, I've been doing back-to-back all pods and everything, fantasy from, from February, March, whatever, when the men started to now. And it hasn't been a good year for either. It's just been a very frustrating year. So need a break, and then we'll get back into it. Hopefully next year can be a better year. But no, it goes to Emma Swanson, obviously, with West Coast 43. Just I shouldn't have changed it. I should have left on Driscoll, and I'd be 98 points away from 100. Still very unlikely to catch up 100 in a week, but you're a little bit better than 132, obviously. So very, very frustrating with that one. Let's go to the AFLW Fantasy Fanatics Content Creators Cup. And we have a grand final. We have the top two being Liam and Eloise. No surprises there. They both dominated this year. Obviously, with Eloise finishing top of the ladder, 9 wins, 2 losses. When obviously points scored 4 is the tiebreak. Obviously, she is top 20 at the moment, along with Liam, I think, snuck into the top 20 as well. But the points scored for, I think, is at 29 points difference between the two. So they'll be playing off in the grand final this week. I missed out percentage. I was 9-2. Then you had Jono, who was 8-3, but he conceded a lot of. Just got unlucky with matchups, conceded a lot of points, and I say unlucky with matchups. He was unlucky with a couple because he was 8-3. So he still had a very, very good year. Then you had Tom 7-4, Jackson 6 wins, a draw, and 4 losses. DC 5-6, JS 4 wins, a draw, and 6 losses. And then Will 3-8, Jake 2-9, Mel 2-9, and then Jaiden 1-10. So tough year for those at the bottom there. But in terms of the matchups for this week, I was going to go to you for our matchup, Tom, and see what we did. We played against each other in the last week. So how did that match? Well, I was just had the match ago. People know how it went. I won by 13 points because people heard our scores before. But do you want to run through the other matchups as well?
Yeah, I can. However, my laptop is currently not showing the scores, so I'm going to say a little bit more filling until I go on my phone and get the scores up, because my laptop is being old and slow, and now my phone is being not that old but slow. Here we go. Head to head fixtures last week. No, it won't come up. Can you do it for me? It won't come up.
Oh no! What is going on? So we're just going to
go. For those of you who want to see, it just there's no scores. It just says versus, apart from Liam and Eloise's scores.
Yep.
Everyone else's.
Oh, mine is the same, same as well.
Okay.
Mine don't come up either.
Okay, it'll be fine. So, Bales beat you by 13 points, unfortunately. In the tie, JS versus Jaiden. JS had a nice 160-point win over Jaiden, with JS scoring a 15-86. In the next game, Liam beat Jackson by 120 points with a 17-12 for Liam, which is absolutely gangbusters. Next game, Will with a good win over Mel with a 16-22 for Will, won by 220 points over Mel's 14-02. That's you beat me. I don't see it again. And Jono, who is also in the top 20, had a comprehensive win with a 16-45, a 240-point win over Jake. And in the final game, Eloise with a 114-point win over DC with a 16-44 to 15-30. There we go.
Yeah.
Managed to
finally got through the matchups there, so that's good. In terms of the AFLW Fantasy Fanatics Open League, we have got, I'm just getting up the total number of coaches that we do have inside the top 100 as we speak, and of course my computer's decided to be a bit silly here as well. Okay, so yeah, exactly. So 16. So it was 16-4-6-9 is the score that you need as well to be inside the top 100 for those playing along at home that want to go there, be inside the top 100. What was it? Are we close to 50? should have been paired for this. I normally am. I'm surprised I didn't. We've got 43 coaches inside the top 100. So we've increased by one. No, we increased by one. It was 42 last week. So what do we got? We got a few coaches there. There's a few coaches that aren't too far away. They're only like 20 points. So hopefully a few of the coaches are just outside can sneak in. We can get 50 of them inside the top 100, which would be very, very good. In terms of the person that is leading, it is Caleb's team at Noffy. We have a problem. He's been up there for a number of weeks, and his team has gone along very nicely. 1691, round rank of 31 on the weekend. Like looking at the team, just everything is just a very, very good team. He must have brought Tony Evans as well in this week, by the way, with an 89. Very, very nice score from her. But no, very, very nicely done by Caleb's team there, who's also in our open league as well. So congrats on that. And a few other coaches at the top there as well in our open league. So hopefully you guys can stay in your positions and go really, really well, or potentially take it out, because regardless of who wins, you are a fanatic that listens, which is very much appreciated. But let's go through to the games and do our studs and duds for the second to last time of the season. And we'll start on Friday night, which was the showdown. Adelaide versus Port Adelaide, and Port got their first showdown win by 7 points. I've got studs this week, so it really can't be anyone else other than Ebony Marinoff. 160, 34 disposals, 15 tackles, just incredible. She did everything she could to get the Crows over the line, and she was very good as well. But a few shouts to Anne Hatchard and Abby Dowrick, who were players we talked about on Friday, that if you were stuck and you needed a bit of cash or you couldn't get up to much. I think Abby Dowrick was just over $1 million. Anne Hatchard was in the 775. So if you jumped on either, you'd be fairly happy with getting a ton from either of them this week. Who gets your dud here, Tom?
So, and this is a bit harsh, I'll give us a shout out to Matilda Schultz. 88 is good, but he gains literally no ruck. You're expecting a little bit more. Only 2 marks and 4 tackles. There's a few occasions when she was in the forward 50, she could have kicked a goal and didn't quite manage it. But the actual dud of the week, another shout out to Caitlin Gould. I think everything went against her that possibly could have. A few really stiff frees against, especially one in this first half where she got taken high, then given holding the ball against, when she would have had a 20-meter kick in front of all 3. So, that's just really unfortunate. I'm going to give it to Sinead Goody. 32 from a full-time midfield role is just pretty pants. And if she's going to make a step up in the coming years to becoming a premium midfielder, we can't be having scores like this in fairly decent matchups.
Yeah. But the English references coming through once again. I'm sure people appreciate that at home as well. Caitlin Gould as well will be someone we'll chat about soon, but just also she'll be cheap next year with the 0 and then the 39. She'll be a very popular pick, I would imagine, starting next year as well. Moving to the next game, which was on the Saturday, which was Sydney and West Coast, with Sydney getting the win by 17 points. And as you said, for Ella Roberts, a late out certainly didn't help West Coast cause on Saturday. But again, best on ground, I think it's got to go to Laura Gardner. 141. When you score 140, it's probably hard to go against anyone else. We got a few of the same players because they're just dominating, and Laura Gardner continues to dominate. 30 touches, 6 marks, 12 tackles, just filling up the stat lines exactly how you want. Like, that's what we want our mids doing. And I believe if I go to the stats center, is she still... No, Noffy overtook her with the 160. I was wondering if that would be the case there. But yeah, Noffy, Gardner, Riddell have been the 3 standout mids in terms of averaging over 120 this year. So congrats to them as well. And Garner would be if it wasn't for the injured game that she had as well. Who gets your dud? And is it Charlie Thomas?
It's not Charlie Thomas. Well, it could be Charlie Thomas's last 3 quarters, only scoring 32. But I'm going to give it... I've got to get to Emma Swanson. 43 from a full-time midfield role. 1 mark, 1 tackle. You just got to... If you've been a full-time midfielder in the AFLW, you've got to either rack up hill or tackle. And 15 disposals and only 1 tackle doesn't really cut it for Emma. Also, thank you, Zippy Fish, for a lower score in 53. That's what we all wanted. Please do as badly as possible next week because we want you as cheap as possible as a defender next year.
Yeah, it's a good. Actually, it's probably not a bad point to be fair. We want her as cheap as possible because we want her. And for those just got at home, I think China's a great player. It's just very, very frustrating that she's put up all those poor scores, and then she decides to go really, really well. But yeah, very frustrating. Let's move over to the next game. And also, by the way, that was a very low-scoring fantasy game. Like, I know that Gardner went 140, and you had Kennedy 104, Bella Lewis 99, but you had, what, 3 players in this Morfitt, Thomas, and Wackford go over 70, two 60s, and then everyone else is below 60. So very low-scoring fantasy game. A lot of 20s, a lot of 30s.
Sorry. Yeah, I forgot to mention, shout out to Lucy Boyd, who had a statless -3 point game. No disposals, no marks, no tackles, 1 free against, -3 points. Well played, Lucy. I hope you had to do the running with the amenities after the game, because that's a pretty poor effort.
Yeah. Moving to the next game, Essendon and Hawthorn, with Hawthorn getting a 30-point win there. No tons in this game, so it's a little bit trickier to pick out a best on ground, but I will give it to Anya McDonough. Been very good. 93. She's been pretty impressive, particularly since Gilroy's been back. She's been performing really, really well. 3 goals here, and 93 would have been very handy if you had her in the forward line in your team. Who gets your dud here? Oh, actually, I'd say who gets your dud, but I know exactly who gets your dud here.
Right. I'm not going to go on another Jenna Richardson rant. It is Jenna Richardson. I will actually give it to Mac Eardley for scoring 6 points in the first, third, and fourth quarters combined.
Yeah, right. 6 points.
She had a 37-point second quarter and scored 6 points in all of the quarters combined. As a popular trading option, it's very disappointing.
Yeah, the one thing I do know is that she had a number of stats being taken away from her and throughout the game, which I thought was interesting. Like, she was up at 50 odd, she got points taken away, post game updates as well. So it's interesting that a fair bit of that happened. But yeah, no, not what you wanted trading, because she's to trade out this week, right? She got North Melbourne. We'll chat about those trade options a little bit later on. Moving over to Fremantle and Richmond, Freo winning by 44 points. And I'm just going to give the stud to Freo's midfield. It's hard to split. You can't really split them, right? Gab Newton, 129, 28 touches, 8 marks, 7 tackles. Brilliant. Kiara Bowers, 24 touches, 4 marks, 13 tackles. Brilliant. And then Ash McCarthy, 117, 2 goals, 32 touches. Fantastic. Like, all getting the job done. Even Mim Strong with 97 in a trickier matchup with 10 tackles was also pretty good to see. But yeah, Freo's midfield dominated. If I had to pick one player, I'll go Gab Newton, because she's the unique one, and she's a few that jumped on there this week. So if you went there, you'd be pretty happy gaining the 3 points if you didn't have maybe her instead of like a Bowers, for example, as well. But I'll mention Amon Conti as well, 108 in a losing team, and the only player besides Egan to go over 70 was good to see as well. Who gets your dud from this game?
Katie Brennan, 6 touches. Didn't hit the scoreboard. 6 touches.
I keep feeling bad. I keep feeling bad who's your dud, but back to
my team. Me bringing these players in. Absolutely. Also, I know she's a rookie, but Sierra Greaves, 24. Basically,
the whole Paige got 21 as well. They might have been
whole Richmond forward line. The whole Richmond forward line. To be fair,
yeah, they just didn't get amongst it.
Apart from Caitlin Greiser, no one else got touched the ball in the forward line for Richmond. It was a bit of a demolition show at Freo Oval by the Dockers.
Yeah, well, I think there was a quarter where they had no inside 50s. I'm pretty sure one in the third quarter where it didn't go inside Rich 50. So yeah, it was a big win by Freo there. Moving to the Saturday night game, good game before this one. Brisbane and Melbourne. Brisbane winning by 9 points. Shout out to Beldors, 127, very good score, 14 tackles, got it done. Sophie Conway, 110 as well, and Orlai Dwyer all scoring really well with a 101 there for Orlai Dwyer as well. But I'm going to give it to Charlie Mullins. It's hard not to give it to Charlie Mullins. 115, 21 touches, 7 marks, 8 tackles, kicked a goal as well, just filled up all the stat lines. If you jumped on her a couple weeks ago when she was in the 650-odd K, you'd be absolutely laughing. She's not too far away from $1 million. She will be over $1 million this week. She's been an amazing pick to end the year. I'm kicking myself I didn't go her when I had the choice. But unfortunately, went Courtney Hodder for a 0. So who would have thought I'd go better than that? Who gets your stud from this game?
So my dud from the game, Jade Ellinger, 46. Kind of flattered his seed over the last couple of weeks of actually scoring quite nicely. 46 in not a horrible matchup, just doesn't quite cut it. And my weekly Paxi watch, she had a second highest quarter 4 for the year with a huge 9.
I was wondering if we were going to get the Paxi update. I was wondering
we're getting
a good last quarter.
No, the 9. The second best for the year for Paxi. So we're making progress going into finals. We might crack that double figures again.
Yeah. And also shout out to Courtney Hodder as well, that last quarter, 47 points. That to save that score. That she wasn't looking like a great score there, but to get a 47 in the last quarter to over double her score was really good. I don't know, first 3 quarters didn't look like the Courtney Hodder that we'd seen. Obviously, she looked like she was a little bit hampered by that quad issue that she was dealing with, but last quarter she looked great. She looked back to the Courtney Hodder that I brought her in for. And we all brought her in for. Moving to the Sunday games, Bulldogs and Geelong. Geelong winning by 11 points, I think, to keep their very slim finals chances alive. They need to, win by a fair bit and rely on a few teams above them losing by a bit as well. But so unlikely, but it's still mathematically possible. Best on ground, again, there was 3 scores over 80. 3 scores over 80. And I'm actually going to give this to I'm going to give it to a rookie, Sarah Pousty, 84, 13 tackles, didn't take a mark unfortunately, had a hit out as well, which is impressive. 11 touches, 10 kicks, what we love to see. Just very good. Nina Morrison was good as well with the 96, 15 tackles. But besides that, not much else. Like George Pasparis had 25 touches, but only scored 69. So I wonder if that does sort of lead towards the dud of the game, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, the dud of the game has to go to Alice Edmonds. As a popular trade-in option this week, it's a downgrade option to only score 52. I mean, to her, there was only 40 hit-outs for the game. There was only 40 stoppages.
Yeah.
And with 9 goals being kicked and there was only 20-odd stoppages in the game. It was played in a swimming pool in Ballarat.
Yeah.
The conditions were horrendous. But that was I was very surprised to see it so low stoppage. I didn't watch this game. I watched the other game, so I can't really comment on why it was so low stoppage. But I'd have thought with it being so wet, there'd be a lot of stoppages, but only 1 tackle for Alice Edmonds as well. Winning the hit outs maybe didn't play into her wheelhouse as much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And even Ash Maloney 69 isn't too bad in those conditions, to be fair. For a key forward,
that's the lead.
69, that's pretty good.
If you've held the G-Prez as well, 69, you just want more. Just such a low-scoring game. I can imagine it being very fumbly and very, very Serge footy kind of vibes.
Yeah, you'd think in those conditions, to tackle a bit, there's only 3 tackles, which was surprising. Moving over to the next game, which was the high-flying Kangaroos, another win to a surprise of no one, winning by 46 points over St Kilda. And I've got to give the joint best on ground to Ash Riddell and Jazz Garner, just doing usual things. Ash Riddell, 132, just finds the ball. Another 42 disposals. Like, it doesn't surprise me. It's not like we sort of don't look at it and go, oh, that's a massive game. That's just what Riddell does. Like, the record before this year was 43 disposals. She came one disposal away from that, but it's not the record because she's broken it like 2 or 3 times already. So crazy. She just finds the ball, ridiculous. And then Jazz Garner, 131, 31 touches, 8 tackles, 3 behinds. Like, could have been even bigger. But yeah, just impressive from this North team and their star duo in the midfield of Riddell and Garner, so they can share the stud for this game. Who gets your dud here?
I find it hard. I'm going to give it half to Alice O'Loughlin, 36. I know she's not got a great ownership, but you're expecting a little bit more than 36. And also kind of to Serene Watson for 61 as one of the few remaining premium defenders. I know North is fairly tough, but to take no marks and only 1 tackle, to only score 61 with the 21 disposals, just a little bit more, that 10, 15 points, just to elevate
10,
yourself.
15 more. Yeah, exactly.
But it's not,
as you said, we can forgive, right? It's North Melbourne. It's such a tough matchup, right? So, that's why we're probably going to be trading out a lot of our Hawks this week as well, because they've got them this week. Moving over to the next game, Carlton and GWS, with Carlton getting a big win there by 46 points. And stud for this game, I gave it to the Freo midfield for their game. And I'm going to give it to the Carlton midfield for their game today against GWS. Lily Goss, 129. Had a very good year for Carlton. 22 touches, 12 tackles. Very good score of 129. Dana Finn, again, dominating. 122 with 31 touches, 8 tackles, which is impressive as well, with 5 marks, kicked a goal. And we said it last week. I know Liam came on here and said it as well. Maddie Gearin, back-to-back good scores. 112 from Maddie Gearin, 24 touches, 10 tackles. Should have been playing there all season. And she was so cheap if you jumped on this week. 110 from a cheap player like that. 112, sorry, is a very, very good score from her as well. So shout out to the midfield of Carlton there. If I had to pick one, I'll go Maddie Gearin, because she was the one that was really, like, few people might have jumped on because she was really, really cheap. So I'll go Maddie Gearin for best on ground, because Dana Finn's been doing it all year. So give shout out to Maddie Gearin. Who gets your dud here?
I'm going to give it to Emily Pease for a 49. Some people may have jumped on there as a defender who's been scoring fairly well in the last few weeks. 49 is a little bit disappointing. I just found this game to be the least of fantasy relevance ever. So
everyone had Goldsworthy and
Goldsworthy got injured.
Went down injured.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see the incident. So what actually happened? I didn't have a chance.
I didn't see the incident either, unfortunately.
So I'll do a bit of the match report, sort of what it looks like there. So Zali Goldsworthy, it looks to be right ankle injury. So, and apparently she was seen with a moon boot post game. So that I can't see her
that's
this week.
Season.
That'll be done. Yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Also, another negative 3. So the commentators for calling Bree Harrington moody throughout the whole of the first half.
Did they really?
Like,
I didn't.
Yeah. It's just like, she retired.
Yeah. No. She got married. Remember, she got married. Took last name. You're thinking of her sister, who's still Celine Moody.
Sorry.
You know how marriages work. You know, when like the normal.
Yeah, I am horrendous for that. I'm not married myself.
Celine Moody retired.
Retired.
That's retired.
Bree Moody got married.
You can tell it's been a long season for Tom when he's.
It's been such a long season. It's been such a long season.
Moving to the final game, which was Gold Coast and Collingwood, and Collingwood getting the win by 15 points, which I imagine it wrapped up the wooden spoon for Gold Coast there and bumped Collingwood up a few places for the draft picks to end the year as well. My stud here, there's a few honorable mentions here. So Ellie Runnels has been a good pickup for Collingwood, I think, this year. 116, good score from her. Charlie Rowbottom, 115, 36 touches. Very, very good. You probably wanted slightly more from 36 touches, like 24 handballs. Obviously doesn't help. I think a few frees as well. 115 still a good score. Lucy Single, 106 was also very, very good. But I'll give the stud to Neve McLaughlin, who has now gone back-to-back tons. Number one scoring defender this week. Very, very good from her. 102, 28 touches, 6 marks, and a couple of tackles as well also there. A few people were nervous. I think the first CBA she was forward, but played a lot of that midfield role today, which was good to see, and that's where she should be, not stuck deep forward like she was against Brisbane. But no, very, very good score from Neve McLaughlin, and I assume everyone has got her. Your dud to finish us off.
And I'm gonna give it to somebody who scored 95 points. And this is gonna sound very, very harsh. Someone who hasn't been married since last time I checked anyway. I'm gonna give it to Britt Bonici. Purely because we were expecting more and kind of wanting more. All of the big mids went 120 plus this week. And to only go 95, losing that 25, 30 points in the midfield can be very, very damaging when it comes to your overall score. So in this matchup, we're expecting a bit more from Bonici. And only 23 touches a little bit down on what she can produce.
Yeah, just in the matchup, right? As you said, matchup, they won. We just thought she was going to be a bit better than that. But a lot, and it didn't help when a lot of mids scored over 100 this week. A lot went really well. So very, very frustrating if you jumped on her. Let's move to the trade ins and outs for the week. And normally we do position by position, but I think we'll start off. Zali Goldsworthy is obviously a trade out. She'll be, I can't see her playing this week, if being in a moon, but I haven't seen the vision. I'm sure I'll look back at it at some point, but I can't see her playing. So she'll be a forced trade out. And obviously the sour note is with not only with the injury, but the fact that with such massive price shifts, she ended up dropping 147K this week. So she's down at 941 after spending a lot of the year at 1.2. So it's a cruel blow. I partly I don't love the massive price jumps and price decreases. I just think it's just really hampers people that have injuries there. But that is the game that we play. But she'll be a trade out, and she'll have to be traded by everyone because she's 100% owned in the top 100. So she will be a trade out. And what we'll do normally, as I said, we go through position, but we'll go through the options that we're looking at for Zali Goldsworthy. So if you've got cash, Courtney Hodder, Ash Woodland, Montana Ham, they're all over $1 million. I think if you don't have any of them, you go there. Courtney Hodder's the least owned one of the three. Woodland, I think, is up near the 80% or just over 80% the top 100. Ham's, I think, about 100%. I think she's in every team in the top 100 or very, very close to. So Hodder's the one if you're looking. But if you don't have a couple of them, Tom, is there a preference of the three?
I think I'm going Ash Woodland versus a depleted GWS as my preference out of the three.
Look what Carlton did this week. All the Carlton mids dominated.
So and it's another must-win game for Port. They're not going to be taking it easy. It's going to be very important for them to win. So as a result, I think it's very, very important that if Port win, they can make finals. They need everything to go their way. They need to win big. So they're going to want their best players in their strongest positions. And I think that's going to be Ash Woodland in the midfield. Courtney Hodder, she's awesome. If you don't have I'm in a position where I don't have Woodland or Hodder. That's why my team's so average. I think Woodland for that 70K cheaper is probably where I'd go.
Yeah. Both have got great matchups as well. So I think that both can go quite well here. But I think Hodder's going to be the one a lot of people jump on, right? Because a lot of people got Woodland already, so I'll
Yeah.
say Hodder in that. But if you don't have Woodland and Hodder, the 70K could be interesting. But if you don't want to go into the off-season with 70K sitting your bacon, you can get Hodder, then go for it. But I do like Woodland a lot as well, for sure. And Montana Hammer is also a good option there. Esther, not a great matchup for mids as we've seen, but I still think forward. I think she's a very, very good option there. A number of other good options as well. Charlie Mullins, I think, at 966. Funny, we were probably thinking last week she was too expensive for 800, but now we'll talk about trade data, but I'm considering bringing her in at 966, which is crazy.
Yeah,
So.
it feels great. It feels crazy, but as I say, if you've got the coin to use it,
her role
you've got the coin. Yeah, if you've got the coin, you can use it.
Watching on the weekend, a few CBAs. She was forward. She was in defence at times as well, getting back and helping. Like, it's an amazing role. And yeah, I wish I jumped on.
Yeah, it's a heavily outside role. But then does play some time on ball. She's been awesome. I think you got a lot long odds if we'd have gone the fourth most expensive forward at this time of year is Charlie Mullins.
Yeah, we talked about her in the past, right? As being even start of year, as a bit of like a player that could be top 5 or just outside. But the fact that she's had a tough start to the year, I think she got injured in a game as well, but it's come back 78, 74, 82, 115. Just, incredible. Very, very good form to end the year. Bonnie Toogood, I think, still an option at 8.85 there against Sydney. So not as easy a matchup here, but she's still getting it done in tough matchups anyway. So I think she's an option there. Then you got, and there's a few options here that have got tough matchups, so I wouldn't be targeting. So I wouldn't be looking at any of the Hawthorn players there. I don't think I'd be going for, I know Zanka had a good score against Geelong, but I don't think I'd be going there this week at 791. If Chloe Malloy's back, you could go there. We know the back.
She's the one for me. She's the one. If she's back, she will be owned by 0 players going into this week. Like, she's the one with the ceiling and the ability and the matchup. And I know she's coming back off the injury, and that might lead to low tog, but it's a must-win game for Sydney again. I think we'll try and get her up. Obviously, if she's not named, she's not named. But for 768, I think you can do a lot worse than Chloe Malloy.
Yeah, no, great. Good price there. Don't mind Jessie Wardlaw against the Dogs. Dogs can be tricky because they've got all their defenders back, but she's gone 52 against North Melbourne, which is like, you're not going to blame her for that. But she's got a ceiling as well on a day. Like, she could be someone you look at. I like other options instead, but she is an option there. Obviously, Barnett, if you've got her, she's a trade out than a trade in. And Frederick had a lot of ruck time today as well. I don't mind Ash Maloney at 673 if you need a bit of money. Melbourne is an okay matchup. And she scored 69 against the Dogs, but in the very, very wet conditions. So I think she could be an option that you look at. Anyone else that you like potentially as a forward option? Like, I don't actually hate Katie Brenner. Katie Brenner's a 1 week play who dropped money at 605K. I know she dropped the 20, but Gold Coast this week.
There's the two. There's Caitlin Gould at 487K.
Well,
and there's Katie Brenner at 605. Yeah. If you are strapped for cash, or if you want a proper throw at the board, those two are there. If that will allow you to get the play you want to get from your failing defend D5 or your failing M5 or you want to change your ruck, you can go down there because it's a 1 week play and your team's going in the bin after this week.
487K for Caitlin Gould, down 142K this week, obviously after scoring the 0 when she got injured very, very early in the game. As I said before, she's been priced very, very cheap for us next year. And if you're in a very good spot, this is a very good play to have in the F6 and loop. If you've got the ability and you've got the red dot and you've got a player in the forward line that you're not as confident, maybe you can't trade maybe you don't want to trade a McDonough and you want to have a look at how she goes, or a Gilroy, or one of those Hawthorn forwards, or maybe a player you don't love as much and they play early enough in the round. you can loot them, see what they'd go. And if not, you can play Caitlin Gould there at 487. But yeah, someone I'm definitely considering bringing in this week with my rabble of a forward line. But that's the forwards. In terms of, we didn't touch a trade out, so it's a bit jumbled this week here. But in terms of the forwards that we'd be looking to trade out, obviously Goldsworth is going to be traded by everyone. I think all the Hawthorn forwards can go. I think McDonough at 850 can go. She's been great, but just the matchup's not good. Gilroy can go. She's been good last few weeks, but she's got to go. Stone, I think, can go anyway, regardless of matchup. But yeah, all the Hawthorn forwards, if you've got any of them, I think they all need to go there. Probably besides Barnett as well, I'd be trading.
Barnett
Brisbane,
probably
very tough matchup.
I think those are the mains, and then there's no anyone else you want to who isn't one of Horder, Woodland, or Ham or Mullins. If you want to trade them, you can, but they're not glaring.
There could be a number of people out there that are using all three trades on their forwards this week. It could be like 2 on field ones and maybe Gordon on the bench, or 3 on field forwards. It could be just forward trades this week. So that's the forwards there. So we'll go. Well, I guess we'll go in reverse order today. We'll go to the rucks as the next one there. Everyone's probably got Strom or Schultz. I just don't think you trade either. Schultz has got a great matchup against GWS this week. I think she'll dominate. I know she didn't put up the massive score against the Crows, but I think she'll go well. I guess the question is, so Strom's got the Crows. If Jess Allen's not back, you're definitely not trading. But if Jess Allen comes back, you could make the switch to Schultz. I just don't know if there's going to be a lot of teams out there that won't have a couple of trades at least that they need to make. So if your team was great, if your team was in a really good spot and you had a spare trade and Jess Allen was named for the Crows to play against Strom this week, would you make the switch? I probably would if you've got no other trades to do. And Jess Allen's
I think I would prefer to do Caitlin Gould F6.
Yeah, I'd probably prefer that as well. Yeah, if it's a Lauren Young to Caitlin Gould on the bench, you got the money. Yeah, I'd probably do that. So you're saying you wouldn't worry about it in most cases.
In most cases, probably not. Just because Jess Allen's not been that hard this year. And if Strom, she's getting back towards being Matilda Strom, and we know Freo love playing a super highly contested game.
Wait, did you deliberately say that Matilda Strom?
Matilda Strom. I am absolutely shattered. Sorry, guys.
Unbelievable.
But Mim Strom, I think Mim Strom will go well against Adelaide either way. I think it'll be highly contested, lots of stoppages, good for ruck scoring. And if it is Tarleton, I think it could be messy.
Yeah, and that 97 for Mim Strom as well. That probably should have been a 110. So I think she had a lot of time on the bench in the last quarter. I think she was resting a bit towards the end of the game. So I think if it is Tarleton this week, I think she could have an absolute monster score. So obviously, if Tarleton's there and there's no Jess Allen, you definitely not. You could argue that you could even go the other way and go towards Strom. I think she's probably the one that you'd want if it was against Tarleton this week because the matchup. In terms of the mids, probably not a lot of trades going on either. A lot of people have got Gardner, Marinoff, Garner, Riddell, Bowers. They're probably the 5 that you've got. If you've got anyone else, like if you've got a Benici, I think you'd trade her and you've got options. If you want to go up to one of those 5, if you want to make up ground and you want to go for a pod, Gab Newton just keeps getting it done. She's got a great match against the Crows. She's 1.342, so it's expensive, but she's getting it done. Like Charlie Rowbottom's got Richmond. She's turned up in 5 of her last 6. Only one score over 115 though, which is probably the knock. But Richmond, I think is a matchup I think she can go really well in. Mon Conti is the cheaper one, and the one that's got Gold Coast. I have my worries about a Lucy Single run with there. Not saying that that's gonna hamper her from probably scoring well enough, but I just wonder if that takes away some of that ceiling. That's my only slight worry, but still don't mind her. I think you've got Abby Dowrick, who just put up a good score against GOS. I'd rather Conti for a little bit more, but she's there. Ash McCarthy as well, 1.15 is an option for you. And probably the real cheap one if you want to go there. I think Anne Hatchard is still a cheap enough option. You could take the chance on 842k. Got Frere this week. Played a bit more in the midfield on the weekend with Gould back, which is good to see. And then, Maddie Gearon's probably the other one if you are cash strapped and you need to jump on someone. 790k, probably her and Hatchard are the options. So,
I
what
kind
are your
of
thoughts?
like Hatchard. And then if Hatchard allows you to do 2 really nice upgrades on the other end, like doing a Stone and Goldsworthy to Hodder and Woodland, I kind of like it.
Yep. Definitely look at.
Because it's just for a week, right? I'm on Conti and I'm quite happy I've got Conti as my 5th mid. If the run with happens, it happens. But I think she has the capacity to go huge.
Yeah,
in this game.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I think the matchup, and she's going to want to go big to round out the year. So that's. I'm not sure I'd pay 1.32 for Gav Newton.
I'd be tempted.
I said this last week, and then keeps getting it done. And maybe I've got to change my thought process. But,
so she's so the first 5 games of the year she didn't go over a ton. Since then, from round 6 to 11, she's gone 128, 116, 83, 123, 102, 129. So just getting it done, just consistent. And that 83 was that game against Hawthorn and Frankston when everyone scored poorly. Like I think Bowers only got about a 90 as well. So she's definitely someone to look at as well. But Conti's got the matchup there if you want to be going there. If you had to pick between Anne Hatchard and Maddie Gearon, is it Hatchard for, I guess, the proven sort of number of years of premium scores? So 842k for Anne Hatchard. Maddie Gearon is just under 800k at 790.
I probably would go Gearon
against West Coast.
I think. Just because of Hatchard's, the chance of her going forward and spending time outside of that CBA. I think with Carlton's injuries, I think Gearon is locked into that centre bounce mix now. But I'm happy either way. Gearon is more of the punt, Hatchard's more of the proven player. Both, I think, are interesting options. If you don't, I don't think I'll be trading any of the top 5 mids though.
No,
to do this.
No.
This is if you've got a different one.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you consider going a big mid down if you need to make up ground just to differentiate yourself? Like, do you go for a Conti with the upside, or do you just do it in a different position? Like you trade a highly owned forward.
If you are in the 150 plus camp rank and you are trying to get a hat, there are very much worse options than picking, and you think your team's not going to get there just through naturally being better. You can definitely add. Which one would I pick to trade out? What's the matchups?
So you got Gardner against Essendon. I don't think it's Gardner with the way that she's going, and Sydney need to again make sure that they win. Are Sydney still in the hunt for? Sydney still in the hunt for finals? That's for the question. I just have to check the ladder.
Yeah.
They're ninth.
Yes,
right. So they're only 1.3% behind the Crows. So if they win by enough this week against Essendon, they could sneak above the Crows, regardless of if the Crows win. So she stays. I think Noffy stays. You're not trading her. You're
not
the first name that came. The first name that came to my mind was Jazz Garner. Purely because for Garner, I could see, because it's a shorter turnaround for this game and the final game of the season. You could see a bit of forward time. You could see some resting at the end of the game, which we saw not this week, last week.
Yeah.
And we still have the chance as well. Like, we haven't chatted about it yet, but one of them could be a full game rest. They don't need to win. They've got enough players there. Do they rest?
Yeah, but
one of these players a full game. I don't think so. I think it'd be more in-game rest. But it's just
I think
just to note.
I think this record is really making them not just fully queue on the rack and making 10 changes this week.
You just want to keep the train rolling.
Keep the train rolling. Keep the fear factor of North rolling. Beat everybody. Turn up, beat them. I think that's more important, especially against Hawthorn, who they're going to play who they might play in finals. They're going to want to send a message saying, "Look, we are better than you. Are you going to come up against us again? We're going to beat you again." Like that's just I don't see a full game rest, but I do see.
I think it's more. Yeah, I think it's more in-game rest. So yeah, if you're going to go,
we even saw today there was no real in-game rest for Riddell or
there wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't. Which I was surprised.
The game was over, and they was still playing the normal rotations. It's just a testament to how fit these girls are. That they can play 85-9 tog every week through the midfield. Riddell running around,
just racking up
all over the place, racking up 40 touches without being touched. Like the one game Riddell didn't score so well, she got tagged round 1. Do you remember us all being a bit scared after round 1 about Riddell?
Yeah, and the Essendon game as well, and Essendon as well,
and the Essendon game, and they got attention.
Yeah, and I guess that's my worry. That's my worry though with the North girls is that they didn't actually get any in-game rest this week, so they're just going to have a little in-game rest next week, or is it because they didn't have an in-game rest this week? Is it planned that they're going to rest next week? That's my worry. And with Goldsworthy already out, that could be another issue to maybe think about. But again, we'll find out later in the week, and we'll chat about that on the pre-lockout chat if anything was to happen. Hopefully, that is not the case. Moving over to the defenders. And in terms of the players that you're looking to move on, I don't know. I don't know if this is a week where we're probably going to be making too many defender trade outs like
Jenna Richardson.
Obviously, you trade Jenna Richardson. Normally, I would say, could we look at moving out like a 2 Lucas Rod as they've got a tougher matchup? But I just don't think there's enough upside in another defender where you're looking there. So I think we're holding them. I don't think we're moving them on, and there could be a few defender points because I think the ball will be in their defence a fair bit as well.
Are horrible. North are a pretty grey matchup for defenders. So
yeah,
I'm not given. Once again, TLR is very highly owned, especially at the top. But my worry about defenders is we've seen a major slide with defenders over the last kind of 3-4 weeks.
Yeah,
defender scoring is. I think the games have gone a lot more kick down the line. We've got a lot less teams trying to play and switch, and that's what's been very clear to see. There's not that many sideways marks being kicks, no 45s to those halfbacks. You can jump off TLR, but who are you going to? And that's
the question, right? Is it because everyone's got Neve and she's well over $1 million, and we'll chat about trade-ins in a sec. So, as you can see, there's not a lot that we're probably looking at trading in. In terms of the other trade-outs, again, there's not really any standout ones. I think Jade Ellinger can go 52 and 46 in last 2. Collingwood this way, I think she scores well in, but if you can get another defender that you really like, you could potentially move off there. Few people might be annoyed with Sarah Goodwin. Obviously, last 3 weeks hasn't gone over 65, but she still played midfield on the weekend and on Friday night. And she's got Freo this week. I think if she's got the midfield, she could arguably be a trade in if you're looking for just a 1 week play. So I'd be holding her if you've got Sarah Goodwin still. Charlie Thomas, she scored 77 with a 45-point first goal. So she scored 32 points after quarter time. So for those that do have her,
I think she's
no. I'm not trading her in. I'm talking about trade out. Like, do you still look at?
That's what I mean. It's a hole. No, it's a hole. It's a hole. It's a hole. Why are you trading it? Like, what's the point? Like,
just if you don't, well, there's a couple.
Where are you going?
I don't mind. Well, I guess is that she was probably the last one we're going to talk about. I think Emma Swanson is someone that I traded into last week. I may have to hold just because I don't like. There's not. I've got a couple of players a lot, but they are expensive to get up to. So if you don't need McLaughlin, she's the obvious stand, but everyone's got her, so I'm assuming she's not available for most people. I think Eric O'Shea's still a good option. She's been consistent, over 66 in every one of her last 5 games, over 75 in 4 of those 5 as well. I think she's a good option. 917K if you've got the money.
Yep, don't mind
Maeve Chapman looked a lot better on the weekend in that role. 73 against Brisbane. Geelong this week. She dropped 101K on the weekend, so I think that she could be someone you also look at bringing in there. And the other couple was 2 pods, if you want to go there. Ella Heads against the Giants has 84 and 70 in the last 2. She's obviously wing roll's not great, but if you want to go for a real pod, I don't mind the matchup against GWS. And then Emma Carney, who obviously had a full game rest, she'll come in. She'll probably play that 65-70% game time, but we know she can score well regardless. I think Emma Carney could be a bit of a pod play if you want to go there. They're probably the few that stand out to me there. But Eric O'Shea probably being the one I'd really like to get up to if you've got the money. Yeah. Or Maeve Chapman.
And one thing I will say is a Gold Coast defender will go huge this week compared to what they're priced at. They play Richmond. Richmond are so easy for defenders. So take your pick of the cheaper Gold Coast defenders and pray you pick the right one, because I'm not going to tell you which one to pick. Because there's Katie Smith, there's Gavin, there's Fitzpatrick back there. There's a plethora of options.
That's the worry, right? Is that you don't know which one to go for. That's
like Lynch has gone over played 3 games this year, the last 3, and gone over 60 in all of them. Spoiler: she's currently in my trade plans. That's because
for me, I think she's the one. Like Mira Gervin's has scored 115 against the Crows and has been over 50 in every. It's funny that she was under 50 in her first 3 games. Obviously, one of them was injury affected 7 as well, and then a 45 on return after that game out. But been consistent from round 6 onwards. We talked about her as well that week. I remember
we did.
Went the 115. So that would have been nice if we jumped on. But yeah, there's a few options there. I think Katie Lynch is the one though if you're picking there. And I'm just annoyed that I changed. Like knowing the Richmond match was so good, why did I change O'Driscoll? That just really annoys me. But yeah, I think that's all the positions we've gone through. So I think that's probably it. So I think we're a bit of a shorter one this week for the final one of the trade ins and outs. But what are your current trade plans as of Sunday night? What have you played around with? Lockout lifted just before we start recording. So what are you looking at doing?
Yeah. So currently I've got Charlotte Wilson down to a 300k defender to get some cash, which allows me to do Goldsworthy to Woodland and Richardson to Lynch.
Yep, I like it. My trades this week. So Goldsworthy's obviously an issue. Gilroy and Stone are both issues, and then Swanson's an issue. Obviously, I don't have 4 trades, so I can't do all of them. So at this stage, I think if Swanson's in the midfield, and I don't love all the defender options there besides a couple of the expensive ones, I'll probably just leave her there at D5. And at the moment, I'm looking at going Laura Stone down to Caitlin Gould, Zali Goldsworthy up to Ash Woodland, and Aileen Gilroy up to Charlie Mullins. So just three forward trades, getting a couple of the expensive ones in. Hopefully they can put out a couple of big scores. I think there was an option where I'd looked at Swanson up to Chaplin, holding Gilroy for the week, and then going like Stone out and Goldsworthy out. I'm not sure exactly what the combo of that in. It could be like Too Good and Ash Maloney or something off the top of my head, but I'm not sure. I'd have to play around with that. But at the moment, it's the 3 forward trades with Woodland coming in, as I like that matchup, as you said before, this week. But that is the penultimate round review done and dusted. So we only got 2 more pods for the year. A third one for the men's trade period recap, which we'll do in a couple of days. And that'll be out probably on sometime midweek, Wednesday, Thursday sort of time. Tom, thank you for jumping on once again, mate. Where can the people find you across the socials?
Yeah, you can find me at Tom_Hales_. Enjoy your final week. If you're playing for fun, bring in some fun players. and enjoy the final week of regular season footy for 2025.
Yeah, mate, love it. You can find me at BAILSDT across the socials and us at AFL Fantasy Fans on X. And yeah, good luck for the final round of the season. If you are tuning on YouTube as well, and you could leave a like on the video as well, that'd be very much appreciated. And also subscribe to our channel. I know that we'll be going on probably like a short break after next week, but make sure you subscribe. Plenty more bigger and better things in for AFL Fantasy Fanatics in 2026. So make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on so you know when we're back and doing all these other pods. We've still got a few to go. So looking forward to those. If you are listening on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your pods, 5-star rating and review would be very, very much appreciated. If we get a couple before the end of the season as well, I'll also read them out next week in our round review show. So if you want to get a review in and get a bit of a shout out on our last pod of the year and leave your thoughts and everything, then let us know. It'd be very much appreciated. So anyway, have a good start to your week, guys. We'll chat to you guys later on in the week for our last pre-lockout chat for the season. So thanks, everyone. Have a good start to your week. See ya.
See ya.